Hey there, I'm Melissa, occupational therapist, also known as the postpartum OT, infant sleep specialist, the person that is there to support families after birth during that fourth trimester where it's a struggle. Today, I want to talk about one of the biggest myths around infant sleep, and that's the idea of self-soothing. So many parents are pressured into teaching their child to self-soothe, and this is not actually possible. So, I want to explain a little bit of the science behind it and the difference between self-settling and self-soothing. So, self-soothing is this idea that people think that a baby's able to, you lay them down and they can calm themselves down from a distressed state. The problem is that their prefrontal cortex isn't even developed to a state where they're able to do that. So, they need us for emotional regulation. They regulate their emotions off of us. And then the hippocampus, which is responsible for that memory and object permanence, it's not fully developed until they're 18 months old, which means they don't understand that when we leave that we're coming back. And so like they don't understand, fully grasp how their needs are going to be met. So studies also are telling us that prolonged crying elevates their cortisol levels, which is increasing stress in babies. And it's not teaching emotional regulation. So instead of people saying, if they cry, they'll learn to uh, self soothe and then it'll be fine. But actually, it's elevating their cortisol levels and they are not actually learning to self soothe. They are just learning that somebody's not coming back. They are not learning. They're just thinking, like, I cry and nobody's going to come back. And so we're leaving them in a state of distress and then thinking that their needs are not going to be met. Whereas self-settling is completely different, and this is okay. And we can work through steps to help babies do this. So if you lay a baby down and they're cooing or chatting, I even call it grumping sometimes. Like some babies will just make some kind of grumpy noises. They're not actually crying. And that's okay. Or what if they wake up and they're kind of stirring between their sleep cycles, but they're not fully crying? They just wake up and chat and maybe do a little like grumpy noises. That's okay too, because they're not actually crying. They're just kind of like fussing a little bit and kind of settling back down into sleep. And that's really like that's okay for them to do that. And that is a realistic expectation, whereas the leaving them just to cry until they settle themselves to sleep is not. So their brains have to have time to develop. They're not a bad sleeper because they need us. They need to have that responsive in attachment parenting. They need us to be able to be there to help them settle. So, in order to create this aspect of them being able to self settle, not self soothe, because, like I said, they can't do that, it's important for us to set up really good bedtime routines, really good environment so they know what to expect. They know what's going to happen. They know that after I do this, and do this, take a bath, read a story, have a bottle, breastfeed, whatever it is, that then it's time to go to sleep. And you would actually be really surprised how quickly babies pick up on those routines. Like I've had babies that when you turn the sound machine on at 3 months old, they would start crying because they realized it was time to go to sleep and they're like, but wait, I don't think I want to go to sleep yet. Not like it was cute because it was not like a bad cry. It was kind of like a cry like, I know what's happening and I'm not ready for this. So having those in place is really important to help with that self-settling, not self-soothing. So that's kind of my topic for today. If you want to learn more, jump on my website. I'll share the link below, and I have a blog that you can check out.